Hello, this is the Sexy Danny 21 Awesome. I'm here with JTISREBORN. Today we are reviewing Room 237. It is Kubrick Month. And next week, Spider Jack Angel and AJ Punk 15 will be reviewing A Clockwork Orange. This week we are reviewing Room 237. So I'm going to start off with JTISREBORN and ask him what he thought of the document.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Room 237 is basically like people talking about the symbolisms and the hidden meanings in The Shining. It's the only reason we're really including it is because, well, it's kind of like people talking about Kubrick's like inspirations possibly for
like the fans talking about it, right?
Yeah, we're just like, what the heck? We'll just throw this one in here as a bonus to stretch it out. Because Kubrick's movies, like, he really isn't like too much horror. Really, The Shining's the one. Like, just, well, yeah.
Well, there's two documentaries about Kubrick. There's this one, which is Room 237, and then there's Staircase to Nowhere, which has all the filmmakers talking about it. But this one is about like all the like metaphors and like what people's theories are about the movie and everything. It's basically a bunch of theories about what the movie has in it, right? And
a bunch of people talking out their ass. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not all the theories are bad, but some of them are really out there. That's the point.
Oh my god, there's some... I got a good laugh out of this because some people, the way they just like look into things, I'm like, okay, not everything in my eyes is just like... There's times where a director will just film a shot. Like, I don't think every single solitary second is like, oh, this is the most inspirational moment of all time. That's what I felt like some of these people were like, oh, but like, look at this transition shot. That's symbolic of, it's a transition shot. There's no, you know what it reminds me of? The South Park episode, Scrody McBooger Balls, where the boys just write a book and just put a bunch of nasty things in it, and everybody looks into it like way too deep. That's what it reminded me of. I mean, there's some...
I'll admit that the moon landing, like, faking the moon landing theory was pretty much out there, but, I mean, that one, like, I don't believe in because I think that's crazy, and I totally understand why you would say that some of these theories are nuts, right? But what I liked about what the movie did was it, like, pointed things out that I never noticed, like, in the movie before, like, in myself, and then I was like, holy cool, I never noticed that before. Like, I never noticed that Danny was wearing an Apollo 11, sweater, and that he was going to, like, room 237, and that it's 237,000 miles away from the moon, from the Earth to the moon. I didn't notice that, and I think that Kubrick did that on purpose, but I don't believe that means that he faked the moon landing. I just believe that he was using Danny as a metaphor of the unexplored, kind of like the connection between, like the ghost world and like our world, basically, right?
Yeah.
The way you could best describe this is Kubrick had a vision, and his vision was kind of like different than like Stephen King's vision. His vision was that the house itself was alive, right? So that when the movie ends, Jack is still, his character is still back, in that time period before, Danny, right? Because, it's, you know what I mean? So I think that the house itself is basically a character. Like, the hotel, as in the house, right? It is a character, the hotel. The Overlook Hotel. And that's why things move in the hotel, and I think that's why there's little, like, issues, like, with, like, a chair moving. Like, I think Kubrick did that on purpose because he was saying that the hotel was alive. What do you think?
Well, some moments like that, like the stuff moving around, I can get that. And, like, just some things, like... But there's times in the documentary that just made me, like, really just, like, are you... These people, like... Where does this guy even come from? Like, the two things that made me laugh the most due to, like, the stupidity is just, like, there's one part where, like, they were talking about how bright something was Oh yeah, that reminds me. Like there was two things based on the room where Jack goes and meets the guy, shakes his hand. The guy's like, "Oh, that means he's kind of getting an erection." That's a Stanley Kubrick joke, which some people wouldn't get, but me, I'm like, "What? What? It's like me doing this."
Okay.
Like I have my phone out. I'm like, "Oh, hey, sir. See my phone?
Yeah.
Or the other one was like, "You can see Stanley Kubrick's face in the clouds." I'm like,
that one nobody.
"Do you know what this is? This is like a Rorschach test."
Yeah.
That's what people like. Just the way some people watch the movie. Like, one thing that also bugged me about it's not really a movie. It's like it's people's opinions, what they got at the movie, whatever. If I see the sunshine, that makes me think of exploding cats or whatever. That's a random thought, but I'm just saying that's what some people would be like. But like, just the part where the one guy said, "Oh, he's shaking his hand. He's getting a hard on," or just. I got a good laugh out of it, but at the same time, like, are these people fucking nuts?
I think that some of them were nuts, but then at the same time, I think that some of them came up with really good theories, and some of them were not crazy. Like, here's the thing. Like, I never noticed that Jack was reading a Playgirl magazine that had to do with incest.
The fact that he's reading it in the hotel as he's about to... That's pretty funny, but at the same time, it's like, why does he have that magazine with him? Did he just bring that, like, into the hotel so they could be like... would they not just, like, look at him and be like, yeah, we're not hiring you?
Was the magazine was the magazine already in the hotel?
Like, what kind of sick, fucked up hotel keeps an incest magazine?
There is some messed up stuff going on in that hotel. I mean, that whole...
Well, I mean, some hotels... Yeah, hotels can be pretty messed up.
The guy in the bear suit.
Yeah, the blowjob bear.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Maybe that's why they got those magazines in that hotel.
And the blowjob bear?
Yeah, there is some messed up things going on in that hotel that we don't know what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Jack is a child beater. He's reading basically a Playgirl magazine that has to do with incest, which almost in a way is ironic because incest and being a child is both, child abuse, or maybe they're trying to say that he was more than just a child beater, that he would also, did weird things with Danny. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a joke that Kubrick was trying to play. We don't know, right?
Yeah. So
there's all kinds of theories about that. But I like that they pointed that out because I never noticed that before, and I think it's totally bizarre that it's there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, there was a lot, the whole theory about, the Native American thing, all the Native American pictures and, art being around the hotel, I get that because it's supposed to be, built on an Indian burial ground, basically.
Yeah,
right?
some of it, but then, I feel like some people, there's one part where it's like, it's way too bright in this room. That's really symbolic. And I'm just like, it's a window. There's no physical way, or, one thing also I noticed, notice how the house, changes, the design of it's completely different. That's just, a screw-up thing, in my eyes. But they're like, that was intentional. That's...
You did a lot of intentional things, though. Remember the changing typewriter, how it changes color? People just trying to mess with the audience, basically.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, I can get some of the changes thing, the chairs disappearing and stuff in the backgrounds moving around. Moving around and that's cool, and the changing of that. But there's some things that just the way people overanalyze the movie.
Or you do agree that we know that Kubrick really liked books about subliminal messages, and that he was reading that before he made the movie. I mean, I think that he did put really weird subliminal.
Yeah, obviously, because here's what some of the people got out of the movie. But part of me is just
yeah.
There's some things on the transition shots. I'm just it's a transition shot. There's no reason to look too deep in. They look at every frame of the movie, and they have to. It's they were had to write a paper or something for
obviously, the people editing the movie were really thinking about the transition thoughts. I mean, that's what they get paid for, right? They get paid to do a good job.
like what I thought about this, like in certain instances, was just like the people thinking about like the transition shots. Like I feel like this is like some like art teacher, like a film school is just like, okay, we're gonna watch The Shining. Now find something symbolic or artsy in every damn shot of the movie. That's what you gotta do.
You know what I really liked that they pointed out in the movie was that
Or documentary.
yeah, and in the documentary that when Dick's going to save Danny on the road, right? All of a sudden he passes where like this car had flipped over, and that was the car from Stephen King's book. So like it was like Kubrick giving him the middle finger, being like, "This is my movie, not Stephen King's."
This is the only movie adaptation Stephen King like said he hates.
Yeah.
Because in certain instances they change like I heard someone say like that like the thing King did was they got the character of Jack right against Kubrick is like he's just like creepy Jack Nicholson. Like they didn't really I don't know, whatever.
I thought that like Kubrick did a really great job.
I like the Kubrick film.
He did his own version of Stephen King's book. Like this is his own adaptation. He made it his own while respecting the source material, right?
To an extent. I mean, he didn't really delve too much into The Shining itself, like the powers and that. Like they're both really different. Like it's nowhere near like the comparisons are too distant, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I like how you had the labyrinth and like because that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And you know, I just like he made Jack like really insane in this movie, and like I love the ending of The Shining basically, and that's my favorite moment is when they show that Jack is in the 20s basically, and he's gone back in time with the ghost. Like that's the most creepy moment, right?
I like that moment. Like, see, moments of symbolism like that I think are good, but I just felt like with this documentary that some people went a little bit too off the wall. But, I mean, it's their own theories as to why things are like that, but I'm just like saying, but part of me was just watching and just going, like, it was kind of irritating me at parts, and I'm just like, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, obviously, but I'm just like, some of it just was like, what? What?
You said the part that you really did enjoy was when they mapped out the hotel, and they were showing like when Danny was going in.
Yeah, I'm like, how does he end up on the stairs? That was something cool that they pointed out. That's something I'm just like, how's it even possible? It's like he's down here, they get the whole thing. It's like, is he get like elevated? It does mess with your brain a little bit when you think about it.
Yeah, and in the book, Danny does all kinds of like weird things like that. You know what I mean? Because like he can like step outside his brain and like be there. So maybe Kubrick was like trying to say that, basically. You know what I mean? In kind of a visual way. I don't.
How he did that, I don't know. That was a pretty cool scene. I do give credit for how they pointed that out because like, how does he like end up on the stairs here? Like if he's down here, how does he end up here? Like the architecture doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Or it's like a big like twisted dream. Like that right there. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's actually kind of cool. How they mapped that out.
And they like mapped the whole hotel out, and they dissected like every scene, which was
they like overly dissected every scene.
Yeah, but you know what? I enjoy how the movie opens with eyes wide shut, and they have like Tom Cruise looking at like a poster of The Shining.
Yeah, it's like Kubrick saying, "Yeah, I made that, motherfuckers. That's me."
Kubrick does all kinds of weird things like that. Like in Clockwork Orange, they have him getting the record of the 2001 Space Odyssey, and in this movie, they're showing the poster of The Shining. I mean, there's all kinds of like references to like his own films. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like that's pretty cool. Like
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I enjoyed this documentary. Now I'll admit that some of the theories were totally insane.
Oh God, some were so crazy that I would never, ever believe. Like I got a good laugh out of some of it, but some of it just the part where the guy was just like, where they like went too off the wall with some of their like analysis and theories about like just random shots in the movie, and I'm just like, I would never want to watch a movie with some of these people. Some where they point out the things were like, how does he even end up the stairs? That was cool. But just the people who are just like, oh, some people, that's a joke by Kubrick. I get this because I'm enlightened. Like, like some of it are just like some of those really obnoxious art house
Or,
people.
or what about how like the rug? In one shot it's like facing this way, and the next shot it's facing the other way. It's like he reversed the rug. It's so
Well,
weird.
some of it could be just they screwed up when they were filming, which, of course, none of the people who watch this would believe that. They're like, it's always intentional. Like, a part of me is just like, can't he ever just make a mistake? No! He can never! It's always intentional, damn it!
But then again, I mean, maybe they're right because Kubrick was a perfectionist and he liked everything to be like perfect.
That's
Like,
true, he could have done stuff intentionally, like to mess with people, but it's like, part of it's just like, I don't know, there's times.
I think he just really liked to mess with you. That's what
Mm hmm.
because like the whole changing the typewriter thing. I mean, that was definitely intentional. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the
But
typewriter for sure, because it like changes several times. It's not like they did one color one scene, and like at the end of the movie it's a different color or something like that.
yeah.
That's you can
So,
notice.
what would you give this movie out of 10?
I don't know. I'm gonna give it like a 4.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
9.5, even for like the ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I took some off because of the ridiculous. I was gonna give it a 10, but then I was like, you know what? I gotta give it a 9.5 because some of it's ridiculous, you know.
Yeah,
But
some of it was too like ridiculous for me, and I
I
was just like,
enjoyed the documentary though. I watched it like 3 times. Like I
I
didn't,
I barely got through one.
I watched it with my dad, and my dad agrees that some of the theories are totally ridiculous, but some of them are really good. And even you admit that, right? So but the thing that I like about it is it's not like they're taking these like film experts. They're taking regular people and
Just like
asking them
interpreting their own meanings, which I find. Like I was watching this, and then the funny story about this,
yeah.
I'm still going back to the one story about the one guy who sees Kubrick's face in the clouds. And he's like, I'd have to Photoshop it for you all to see. Wait a minute, you'd have to Photoshop? You mean you're editing it just to show? I'm like, what do you mean? Why not just draw a circle like on the screen? Oh, here it is.
What are you just photoshopping in the movie, goddamn?
I'm just like, what are you doing? You're taking away from the actual shot. Like that guy there was crazy. My dad walked in and was like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
No, my dad said the same thing when he watched it. That part is not like I gotta.
That part made me just laugh my ass. Like I said, this movie reminds me of like it's like it's like the South Park episode Scrody McBoogerballs.
You know what's funny though?
For those of you who don't know, look that episode up. It perfectly represents the way some people just overanalyze things. Some of them are cool.
Everybody that has reviewed this movie has pointed that scene out in the clouds that they don't like that.
Oh,
scene.
and the Minotaur. Like one of the, I read something where like one of the people who worked with Kubrick on the movie said like Kubrick, if he saw these, he'd be like, 80 to 90% of this thing would be bullshit, especially the Minotaur thing. I'm just like, it's a picture like out of focus in the background. Let it go.
It's scare. Like I saw it as a scare. So my dad agreed with the Minotaur theory, so that was like his whole thing. But I don't know. I didn't get that. I got it. So I
Like
mean,
that would be like me like putting like attack on the wall in the background, so out of focus, and then somebody like, wait a minute, zoom in right here. That looks like attack, but it could be something else. And then it's going off in a 3-hour conversation about why that's meaningful. I don't know, just some things I could
do that
notice.
all the time. Like in IGN Rewind, they were analyzing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theory, trying to say that other guy was the Shredder. So I mean, people can overanalyze things and get things wrong, right?
Well, yeah, true, but I was just like, sometimes, like, in this documentary, for me, it went too far. Like, I just couldn't get into it. Except, like, the one part that made me just profusely, like, the one part that was cool, how they pointed out the mapping thing, where Danny, like, the one shot, I'm like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's my favorite like actual moment in it, like how he does that. But like the part where the guy just like the Photoshop, the
But
photo,
if
the
you're a
part of the
Kubrick fan,
clouds.
okay, yeah, I agree with the whole like shot in the clouds.
I'm sorry, I just can't get that out of my head.
But I think that if you're a fan of The Shining and you like Kubrick, you should definitely watch the documentary. Watch it on Netflix because that's where I watch it. I mean, check it out. I mean, you might enjoy it. You might
You
pick
might
up.
enjoy it, or you might be like me, get a good laugh at some parts and just be like irritated watching it.
But you did like that one part where they
I did
mapped out
like
yeah.
the one part where they mapped out the tracking shot of Danny going around the hotel in like a
Yeah.
circle and how he ends up like on the second floor somehow. I was just like,
I would say to anybody who is a fan of The Shining, check this documentary out. You might like it, you might not, but check it out, and then also check out the documentary "A Staircase to Nowhere," which actually has the actual filmmakers talking about the movie. So this one is about theories by the fans. The other one's about what actually happened on set by the people that were there. So you got two different points of view, basically, two different documentaries, right?
yep.
So I mean, I'm going to give it a 9.5. You're going to give it a 4 out of 10, and stay tuned next week because we got Spider Jack Angel and AJ Punk 15 reviewing A Clockwork Orange, and I'm wearing all orange in celebration of this.
And I'm not.
So I'm excited to see the review of it.
Next month.
So yeah, that was room 237, and I also wanted to point out this one more thing. JT is Reborn and myself are going to be reviewing
Dracula.
Dracula Untold, right?
Yep.
And we're going to be doing that in
Next month.
October, and it's going to be awesome. So check that out. It's going to be one of our exclusive reviews with just me and JT is Reborn. So, because we're big Dracula fans, me and JT.
I just bought the Universal Collection, which I did an unboxing, which a lot of people liked.
Yeah. So and check out his channel and his reviews, and check out mine too. We'll have a link below to both of our channels.
And the other two members of Epichorrorfans, but
Yeah, and the other two.
and we'll also post a link to Room 237 on YouTube before it's taken down.
You can watch the movie yourself.
And find your own meanings and put them in the comments.
Yeah, because you might enjoy the documentary. You might find it frustrating, but you might like some things in the documentary. So definitely check that out. We're gonna have a link down below, and Epichorrorfans has lots of things going on for it that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing also Alien Isolation review and this fall. And also The Evil Within, which are 2 game reviews. So check that out. That's coming out pretty soon. So hope you enjoyed our review and have an awesome night.